Five Nights at Freddy's is proving why you make movies for the fans. I know, crazy concept, right? Now, I'll be honest, when this movie was first announced, I never thought it would be as successful as it is, let alone dominate the box office with big budget Marvel movies in theaters. But how can this be, guys? How can a $20 million budget movie that was released on Peacock the same day it was released in theaters be beating a $270 million big budget Marvel movie? A Marvel movie that has a diverse casting crew and years of build-up in a cinematic universe. You would think that movie, and that movie being of course the Marvels, would dominate in the box office against Five Nights at Freddy's, a video game adaptation film about, I don't know, people looking at security cameras.
Is this a joke? Is this like some kind of prank? Did you guys make this game yourself in the last 2 days?
God help us. If they do a movie about Fortnite, it is game over for everyone. So how did we get to this point? Well, it all begins with Disney buying a shitload of IPs and universes and just completely ruining them. Star Wars, ruined. Indiana Jones, ruined. And now Marvel. It's crashing and crumbling. Each of these franchises had characters the audience loved for years. And what did Disney do to them? They either killed them, tried to replace them with a strong female character, or they took those female characters in those franchises and made them the most unlikable characters anyone has ever seen. Basically, Disney said fuck you to the fans, and they're still doing that right now as we speak. This comes to us from Screen Rant. It's gonna piss people off. Taika Waititi jokes his Star Wars movie will divide the fandom, and he's probably right. Hey, let's piss off people even more. That will get them to buy tickets to our movie. It's just very clear that Disney at this point doesn't care about the loyal fans and the majority of the people watching their product. The people they care about is those loud people on Twitter who will shill for anything with a person of color in it. I mean, these are the people Disney is trying to cater to. The people who will abandon them if there even is a whiff of a person who supports Donald Trump. I mean, look what happened to Gina Carano. I mean, come on, guys. We can't have these people. They're a threat to our democracy.
Come on, man.
Disney really has been making this pivot with audiences since pretty much Endgame. At least that's what it feels like. Instead of giving us a classic hero experience in theaters, Disney has decided to give the mostly male audience a strong female hero with no flaws.
You sexist people. You just can't handle a woman in the lead of an action movie. You bigots.
So we are just not going to mention Wonder Woman at all with a female lead and a female director? No? Cool. And that's another thing Disney does with their audiences. They just completely alienate them. Every movie that bombs now seems to be the fault of those racist, sexist, bigots, homophobics online or something. But the real question is where do these people go when Marvel puts out a decent movie like No Way Home, Guardians 3, or even Black Panther, right? Do they just go into hibernation, into slumber? Oh, they only come out when your movie's dog shit. Got it. Makes perfect sense. Now let me ask you this, do you also think the frogs are turning gay? Sounds like someone I know.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay.
So of course, naturally, with the Marvels coming out, you have these people just tweeting up a storm. This person tweeted, "It's really interesting to me that it's all men who are very actively hating on the Marvels. The movie isn't perfect. Read my review for my thoughts. No thanks. But it doesn't deserve the hate many men are giving it." Men. How dare they hate something with a woman in it? And of course, you know, there's a bunch of other articles out there doing the same thing this Twitter user did. This one comes to us from The Stylist. It says, "Don't listen to the misogynists. The Marvel is a triumph." Oh boy. Here we go. Fresh off the back of first reviews, fake takes about the film have sadly started to circulate on X, formerly Twitter. from people who have not seen the movie. This might sound familiar. The first trailer stirred the sexist trolls from their slumber, and after they review-bombed Captain Marvel, it was almost inevitable that they would return to do the same for the sequel. See? What did I tell you? The sexist trolls. They awake from their slumber underneath their Donald Trump sheets. It happens every time a movie bombs.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
Now, of course, those were people online, loyal customers to the product. What about the people who made the product? What about the director? How did she handle the hate? This is from a Variety interview with her, and this is what she said when asked about the negative side of fandom. There are pockets where you go because you're like, I'm a super fan. I want to exist in the space of just adoration, which includes civilized critique, she explains. Then there are pockets that are really virulent and violent and racist and sexist and homophobic, all those awful things. And I choose the side of light. That's the part of fandom I'm most attracted to. See guys, what you don't understand is there are always two sides to a fandom. The side where people just like everything. And then there's the side that's filled with sexist, racist, homophobic people waiting to type comments and mean things about women. But you know, maybe things would have been better if the director actually stayed after filming and helped with post-production. This is from The Crisis in Marvel, the article from Variety. Then eyebrows were raised again when DaCosta, the director of the Marvels, working on another film while the Marvels was still in post-production. The filmmaker moved to London earlier this year to begin preparing for a Tessa Thompson drama, Hedda. So the director didn't even see the shit show all the way through. They basically jumped the ship before it sank. But honestly, she probably didn't even do that much. I mean, what can a director with a few credits actually do in a film that's basically run by the machine? And I feel like that could be said with multiple Marvel films, because it seems like they're not just casting for characters in their movies. It seems like they're casting for their directors.
Oh, you're a black, bisexual, Native American woman? How would you like to direct the new version of Squirrel Girl?
From the beginning, the Marvels was set to crash and crumble. So many of the mistakes came from the decisions they made before even filming. They didn't listen to the majority of people who said, hey, we don't like this character. Could you please change the character a bit for us? And they said no. And that right there, folks, is probably a big reason why the Marvels is bombing and Five Nights at Freddy's is dominating. I mean, this headline says it all. From Screen Rant, Blumhouse focused on making Five Nights at Freddy's a movie for the fans. Wow, guys. Imagine that. You make a movie for the fans, you say you make a movie for the fans, and the fans buy tickets to see your movie in theaters, even when it's available the same day on Peacock. Hell, they even broke Peacock streaming records. Great things will happen when you keep the fan base in mind when making films. The Blumhouse crew took their $20 million and made a successful adaptation of the game. They got the Jim Henson Company to create these beautiful looking animatronics that look very identical to the source material. They included cameos from famous YouTubers that the Five Nights at Freddy's fans watch. The whole pizzeria was built by scratch and by hand with immense amount of detail and not just some big LED screen. Everything was done with great detail and with passion. Just by watching this film, you can tell that the directors and the writers knew what the people want, and all of that paid off. Five Nights at Freddy's is probably going to go down as one of the most profitable films of the year. I think all these big studios should see this, take notes, and follow in their footsteps. Well, unless, you know, they want to bomb at the box office and bow to this woke mob that will abandon you in a split second. If you make a movie for the fans will come. But of course, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.